Hello and welcome. My name is Jody Scholes, and I'm your instructor for the MBLEX review course. So glad that you're here today. We are talking about ethics, we are talking about boundaries, and we're going to define some terms, some vocabulary terms that go along with this subject that you'll need to know for the MBLEX and probably in life.
Class right now. Can I
Um,
call you back? Bye.
this ethics, laws, boundaries, regulations. This particular topic is 16 questions on your MBLEX. So, and you can see this through the content outline. How do I know there's 16 questions? Because it tells us on the content outline, and I'll attach that for you if you haven't seen it. So today's class on ethics and boundaries is going to go in 3 parts. First, I'm going to give you a little strategy. That's part 1. Like to set you up for strategy. And if we tutor one-on-one, let me tell you, it's one of the very first things that we talk about is your strategy on taking the MBLEX, your strategy on approaching test questions, on getting to the testing center. And we talk quite a bit about that. So strategy. Just double checking settings. Hold on. Someone has their mic open. All right, gotcha. Thanks, guys. Patience, appreciate it. Part 2 of class, of course, is our learning. And so we'll go over all of this educational stuff today. And in the last part of class, we're going to dissect some questions. And they're a little long today. They're a little long. So, all right, so welcome. I'm going to deviate from our normal test-taking strategy in part 1 of class today and share with you a story that impacted me this week. We have one, hold on, my settings are off. I'm so sorry. All right. I'm going to deviate from the traditional part 1 of class today and digging into a test-taking strategy to tell you a story that affected me this week. One of our community did not pass the MBLEX this week. I believe it was her 3rd attempt. And from all appearances, she was doing what she needed to be doing. And for whatever reason, in the path of divine order, it did not happen this week. And I found out just by 4 words, big, fat, no pass. And that's all I've heard from her. And I've reached out, via our direct message board and via email, and things are quiet right now for this graduate. And she's processing, I'm sure. And I liken this experience to the caterpillar that goes into the cocoon. The caterpillar, you guys are all going through this process. I'm sure you can relate. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon in one form. It goes through a change. It goes through the goo. It literally turns into goo. And it changes it. It's called a metamorphosis. It changes its structure into a much lighter body, a body with wings. But when that development is complete, that butterfly has to flap its wings. And it's hard. It's hard breaking out of the cocoon. Recently on the tennis court, I saw a beautiful big butterfly. I'll post a picture of it. I took a picture of it. Um, Beautiful big butterfly that was kind of on the ground, like flapping around. I mean, its wings were like that. It was a really beautiful one. I had not seen like this before. And everything inside my body wanted to help that butterfly, like to put it on like something that was safe, to put it out of harm's way. And I thought, no, no, no. This is the process that this butterfly has to go through. Because if that butterfly breaks through the wings, breaks through the cocoon, and its wings aren't quite strong enough, it's going to flop to the ground. And that was the case of what I was seeing. I saw butterflies whose wings needed to get just a little stronger before they could fly. And one of our community broke through the cocoon and had a flop. Isn't quite flying yet. And so what I'm going to ask of you guys who are listening, I'm going to make a post about this on Friday, tomorrow. And I would like you to comment. I would like for all of us to send her some encouragement. And look, you guys, I wish I could do this for everyone. I'm not going to be able to do it for everyone. And yet I'd like you to see how everyone reacts, because we are here for you too. We are here. We hold the vision. This community holds the vision of your success. And so when one of our community, that doesn't happen for them, man, I want you to be able to feel like, all right, I got to brush off. I gotta get at it again. Because there's no denying the disappointment. It's just what we do with that disappointment. Can we channel that disappointment into the fire that is in our soul, into the fire that is in our belly, to press on and to do it again? It's resilience. And resilience is a muscle. It is. It's really easy to stay the same, you guys. It's really easy. And yet that's not what you're called to do. It's not who you're called to be. You're actually being called to change, to grow, to add this to who you are being. And so part of that is going to be building your resilience as well. So for all of you out there who haven't who failed forward, who have failed the MBLEX at least once, you are not alone. And go through all of the feelings and then hopefully find your resilience, channel that back into your determination. Let that define you, the determination. All right. Next is our learning. So we have a really good class today. Let me share with you the slides. But first, so we are talking about ethics and boundaries specifically today. We're going to make we're going to give you some definitions, some vocabulary words that are related to laws and regulations as well. And as we go through this, depending on where you went to massage school, you may say, I don't think we covered this in massage school. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe not. But that's okay. We're covering it today because the ethics and boundaries topic is going to be about 16 questions on your test. So ethical dilemmas, vocabulary words, situations on what you would do. All right, let's get into it. According to the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards, and that's what this is, FSMTB, the Federation of State Massage Therapy Boards, this is the content that you could be tested on. I have extrapolated, I have expanded on these topics. using Shariso and Mo's book, The Ethics of Touch. She co-wrote that with Ben Benjamin. Excuse me. The other part of this content outline is these topics. And today, you see how the therapeutic relationship is highlighted here? I would like to talk to you today about the therapeutic relationship and what that actually means. So let's start there. There are some words around the therapeutic relationship that I'd like you to be super clear with. So the therapeutic relationship in general refers to your relationship with your clients. Yeah. And I'd like you to understand the words in action, such as power differential, informed consent, the dual relationships, and the multidimensional relationships. And then transference, countertransference, scope of practice, standards of practice, and then ethical violations. We'll see if we can get to that today. All right. Before we jump into our therapeutic relationship with a client, I'd like to compare it to the teacher-student relationships. So when you think about the therapeutic relationship with your clients, it is parallel, similar to a relationship that a teacher has with their students. And so to draw that out a little bit more, I found a great blog about how to show up for your students. And it's so related to how we can show up for our clients. Take a peek. So it starts off by saying, teach with passion and enthusiasm. Attitudes are infectious. How would it feel to show up right before you walk into your treatment room? Hopefully before you walk into work, right? Maybe as you get into your car to go to work, that you take off whatever hat you had been wearing and you put on the hat of enthusiasm and this positive attitude. And I do this before I walk into every treatment. My knock is my symbol that I am now showing up with the intention for my client. Number 2 says, invest in time learning about your students. Well, how would it feel to take client time in the client interview during the health intake to learn a little bit about your client? Where do they work? What does their day look like? Talking to your class with respect. You know, there's a golden rule that says treat others like you want to be treated. How would it feel to do that with your coworkers, with your family? We're going to talk about boundaries, right? Doesn't mean being a doormat. It means respect is given and expected. Find out a little about their interests is kind of the investing times, getting to know your clients. But in the therapeutic relationship, be forthcoming with your mistakes. Yeah. I mean, before we started class today, I said, hey, you guys, I made a mistake. You know, I have promised you that I will be back in touch within 24 hours when you message me. And yesterday, that didn't happen. So I need to be forthcoming with my mistakes. Hey, client, we were meant to start at 3 o'clock. It is now 3:15. Are you okay with the timing if you are here until 4:15, 4:30? Be forthcoming about these things. Be transparent because you'll model good communication, good therapeutic communication. It would be great if my client would say, oh my gosh, I'm 15 minutes late. Yes, you are. And you know what? I build in extra time so that we can still do the full 60 minutes. That's getting a little bit into policies and procedures, which we talk about in the continuing ed classes after you pass the NCLEX. But when you are forthcoming about your conversation, about your communication, it teaches your client how to handle their own mistakes by the way you handle yours. Show an interest in their life outside of school. We show an interest in their life outside of the treatment room. We're not robots. This isn't just a transactional relationship. This is a relationship that is therapeutic. So therapeutic versus transaction. When I have a transaction at the grocery store, I am buying groceries, I am paying for my groceries. Hopefully the grocery store checkout person is happy and pleasant, but that's not going to impact whether or not I go back to that grocery store. Maybe it will be. That's a transaction. You buy something, you pay money, you leave. A therapeutic relationship is the one that you are fostering with your client. In our continuing ed classes, I'll remind you that even if you work at a franchise, it's not a car wash. You're not just putting bodies through a car wash, right? You're showing an interest in their life. You're showing an interest in what they're hoping to accomplish in this session. For that, you got to communicate. Hello. Yeah. Okay. So say hello every visit is our final correlation with the teacher-student relationship and our therapist-client relationship. I don't care if they come to you 3 times a week. Yeah, doesn't matter if they come to you 3 times a week. You say hello, you greet them, you show an interest, you connect with them. I don't care if you're running behind. Part of a healthy therapeutic relationship is your greeting and your interest in your client. All right, that is a bigger picture of the therapeutic relationship. Let's define some terms, okay? So, here's the source. If you'd like to read the whole blog, feel free to pause the recording and jot that down. I'll put the link, I'll share the link in the comments as well. Let's talk about the power differential. So this is this term that kind of comes, a power differential. What is that? In the therapeutic relationship, there is a power differential. I started today with the teacher-student example because it's similar to the therapist-client relationship. So we encounter situations where one person is perceived to have more authority, more agency, more knowledge than me, doctor, patient, police officer, citizen. So it just depends on where you are. There's different roles that just have a power differential. Children, for example, are told they're supposed to listen to their teacher, that the teacher is always right. Well, the teacher is the authority figure and hopefully there to keep them safe. They're a figure of wisdom, of nurturing, of safety, of knowledge. This gives the teacher more authority than the student. Likewise, massage therapists are perceived to have more authority, more knowledge, more understanding than their clients. Licensed massage therapists are perceived to be wise, nurturing, have knowledge. Because of this, there is a power differential between the licensed massage therapist and their client. And so we need to understand this in terms of fair and equitable and the influence that that can give as a massage therapist over the client. So that's what it's called, this authority, this more knowledge, right? It creates this power differential. The therapist is perceived to have more power, especially in the treatment room, right? We talked about doctors and patients. Patients disrobe. The doctor examines. There is a power differential. Our clients disrobe. It is important for us to have secure draping. Secure draping is an example of a boundary. It lets your client know without saying a word where you're going to massage and where you're not going to massage. We'll get into that a little bit more. Because we also need to recognize what is informed consent. Of course, we've got it on our health intake sheet, right? So, okay, I'm healthy, I have no injuries, I am here to recover from my workout. They sign off. That gives you informed consent. This is an agreement where the therapist is explaining to a certain degree what massage is about, especially if it's your client's first massage, right? There could be some misunderstandings. So our explanation, our communication allows that client to make a knowledgeable decision about whether or not they want to receive massage on their glutes, on their abdomen, on their adductors, or other modalities that you may be introducing, cupping, hot stones. We're not just going to throw stones on a person. This happened to me yesterday, literally yesterday. I busted out my cups and I was about to work on someone's medial epicondylitis. Ha ha ha. Little pathology thrown in there for you. What's medial epicondylitis? He actually had both. He had lateral and medial epicondylitis. You can throw it in the chat if you remember what that is. I'll tell you as soon as I'm done. Well, I'll tell you now. His elbow was bothering him. And he is a fella who does a lot of outdoor work. And so his left elbow was bothering him. And the tissue just felt like it needed to be pulled up versus squished down, pressed down. It felt really compressed in his forearm. And so I busted out my cups and I was like, whoa, 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 Jody, you got to tell him what you're doing. And I said, and he was kind of like in that relaxation mode. And so I just said, hey, I'm about to use these cups on you. Your tissue feels like it needs that. Is that okay with you? He's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Do what you need to do. And what I knew, because I've worked with this client for several years, is that he would say, do what you need to do. But it's still important to get informed consent. No surprises. Oh, hey, hot stones on my back. Well, that's nice. Would have been good to know that was coming. But in my example of the elbow and informed consent, this gave the client a comfort level. It didn't have to look down and go, what's going on there? So I have built trust with that client, yet I still asked for informed consent. So it can be written or it can be verbal. Let's talk a little bit about boundaries. We've got a comment in the chat. Let's see. Yes, that was tennis elbow and golfer's elbow. Just to finish my topic on the elbow. Let me just go back for a second to our slide. Medial and lateral epicondylitis. Medial, golfer's elbow. Lateral, tennis elbow. Good answer. And that answer, thank you, Katie. Let's talk a little bit about boundaries, the actual definition. It's a mental health term, actually, boundaries. And these are clear, defined limits that make someone feel safe. And they're going to be different for different people. You have your boundaries. Your clients may have the same or different boundaries. This is how clients express themselves, how clients behave to feel safe. Case in point, I am from America. I had a client who was from someplace else, from a Muslim country. I don't actually know where she was from, but she wore long sleeves. She wore long pants, and she kept her head covered. And we were co-workers at a gym. This is some time ago. And um, I encouraged her to get a massage. I thought this, would be great to build rapport. She got her massage. She kept on all of her clothes, including her hijab. I mean, she wore long sleeves. Her feet were exposed, her hands were exposed, and I did the massage through her clothing. I did not expect that. So it was some, quick adjustments, right? One of the first adjustments was to recognize her boundaries, to respect her boundaries, to not make it weird, to not make it unusual. Of course, that's how she's going to get a massage, because those are her morals. Those are her boundaries. So there's some key terminology that is a part of ethics and boundaries. And so if any of these words look unfamiliar to you, feel free to jot them down, look them up a little bit more, and yeah, or jot me a note and ask me about them. But these are words that, again, you'll want to be familiar with as you prep for the MBLEX. So, ready to go into some dissecting of the questions? Yeah. This is a very heady conversation, right? I love to give you real life examples of these vocabulary words. So good work and hanging in there. Question. Going to happy hour with a client would be considered a blank. Going to happy hour with a client would be considered a blank. Boundary crossing, only okay if you knew them before. Boundary violation, transference. I'm going to leave off the letter because it just is a little confusing. So going to happy hour with a client would be considered boundary crossing, only okay if you knew them before. Boundary violation, transference. Now I'll give you a hint. Think about if you're answering from the MBLEX point of view. Most conservative. Okay, just by the definition alone, we know that we can eliminate one wrong answer. We know that there's one answer in this selection that does not fit. Okay, let's get rid of letter D, transference. That doesn't fit in this category or in this question. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Ooh, you weren't fooled. Brienne with the early answer. Jerry, good. Diane. Petitia got it too. Namika, good. Ms. V, you got that one. Good. Yep. Tanya, excellent. Good. Latasha. No, excuse me, Diana. Yes, good. Hey, Ariane, Ren. Michelle, you nailed it. iPhone 6 got it. Yep. Katie got it. Marcia got it. Good. You weren't fooled. I'm very proud of you. Best answer, boundary violation. It would be a boundary violation. In your personal practice, if you have been out with these people before to happy hours, Obviously, you might run into them again. Technically, for the purposes of the MBLEX, it is a boundary violation. We are assuming the therapeutic relationship is primary. The primary relationship is therapeutic. Your most important role in this question is as their therapist. One more comment. Yes. Right on, Charlotte. You got it. Yep. Good. A female client. Next question. A female client says you remind them of their dearly departed aunt. The aunt was a mother figure, and you can tell the client is getting a bit emotional talking about the aunt. She mentions they always went to the theater together, and she asks, "Do you go to the theater?" This is an example of blank. A, boundary crossing. B, a boundary violation. Countertransference or transference. Ooh, we got lots of answers. Let's see. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Brianne, again, the first to answer. Nice. They're all coming. Yes, you got good. Good. All right, let's use our techniques, right? Because there may come a time where you have a question and you have no idea. Can you eliminate any of these answers as a distractor, as something there to distract you? We can. Let's get rid of one wrong answer. This is not an example of a boundary violation, right? Yeah, okay. We just talked about that. So best answer, boom, y'all got it. Letter D, yes. Strong, good job. In deep tissue, you are going to do the best you can do without giving 110%. It's hard, I know, because you really want to do a great job. We're all wired this way. We're all going to be licensed massage therapists. We're honestly all wired this way. 85%. I usually say 80% because I know you. I haven't met you, but I know you. And you're going to want to give a little extra. Okay. So great work there. And that are our questions for today. Great work, you guys. Great work on establishing a therapeutic relationship. Yeah, nice work. Hey, there's some clear distinctions to be made, some clear choices to be made. Yeah, yeah, and these are performing from the highest ethical standards, and that's what we're going for. So thank you for the time you've spent with me today in class. I am completely stoked that you are becoming a licensed massage therapist. Yes, we need more great therapists in this world. And we need more professionals, more ethical, awesome massage therapists. And this is how we do it. We establish this common language, a common understanding of what it means to practice with ethics, with boundaries. These are super clear. So thank you for reviewing them with me today. I'm going to sign off on the recording. I'm going to stick around and talk to these people who are in class today, answer some more questions. My name is Jody Scholes. I am your instructor for the MBLEX review course, and we'll see you again real soon.